Hello everyone. It has been quite a while since I have been out here in Willow Creek and I was rebuilding it. So last time when we were here, we didn't even have these new houses that we got from one of the base game updates like a year ago or so. And these updates did break my save file, which I have figured just today because I didn't want to come back to here because I was a little bit disappointed because I was like in the middle of a process and EA just interrupted it. But that's my problem. But anyway, now we have a new BFF's house that is, as for me, much better than the one that we used to have originally. So at least out here we have a normal lounge zone. Also, we here have quite a bit of area to exit the house, and we have a living area, normal one, and also a nice and big and open kitchen, and two and several nice and big bedrooms. Of course, this hallway is ridiculous, but at least now we have the ceiling lights. So I'm not really complaining about this house. I quite actually like that. So I figured that I'm not going to renovate it a second time because why would I? I like it. Also, we got the Pancakes house update. So now with this update, I actually might say that it is much better than the one that I used to have. It even has a basement. So it's like, bachelor's basement. So out here, you can just have you drink, maybe watch TV, play video games if you have a console. Also, you can work out, so something good too. This workout machine would be so uncomfortable in real life, by the way. I recently have started going to gym, so I thought about it. And as for living room, I'm kind of satisfied about it too. At least now we do not have all that awkward counter space. We have this sunroom, which is kind of pretty as well. We have this big open kitchen with an island and this big-ish dining room, but of course I'm thinking that, Bob and Eliza are not gonna eat at the same time, so they will not. They will not. Then on the second floor we do have this common bathroom, this more bathroom only for Eliza. Also we have an office area, and then we do have kids area, but that maybe, they were planning for the child, and that just did not happen for them. Who knows? But I don't know about you, but in my save files, pancakes usually have like 4 or 5 children, and that is fun, I might say. And that is Bob's bedroom, a little dirty, and Eliza's much cleaner. So that is their renovated house. So I decided that I kind of satisfied with it as well, so I'm not gonna renovate it again. And then we have this golf house. It would renovate it too, and I'm thinking that this one is really good because I just like the way it looks because it looks, I don't know, like it came from the Adams family. So that is very pretty house. I just really like this style because it's a little bit gloomy, a little bit dark. And out here we have this humongous bedroom with a bathroom in it. Also out here we have an office area. This snack is empty. I would probably stick here some boxes, but that's not something worthy of renovating as for me. Out here we do have one bedroom, the other bedroom, and we have a bathroom on the floor. And then on the bottom floor we have this big dining area, kind of with a tiny table. I would stick a table a little bigger. We do have out here a kitchen. The kitchen, by the way, is kind of lacking because I don't know, I would stick the kitchen at least like kind of wrapped around the snack. That would be so good, I might think. And then out here we do have a big piano and chess and lounge kind of room, I might say. But I don't know it's for you, but I used to play piano when I was in school. I would stick a piano like that and not like that. But that's just me. I like it this way a little better. But that is some minor adjustments, and I would not go and renovate the whole house only because of them. So I'm kind of fine with the goth house as well. Then also we do have the Spencer Kim Lewis house, which got renovated as well. And I'm thinking that I would not go and renovate it too because I'm fine with that. Like, I don't see the point because it's a pretty house. It has nice layout. It has an indoor garden, an outdoor garden, a big, huge pool, some lounge areas outside. Also, it has pretty kids room. It has like open area on the second floor, so that looks really pretty too. It has big bathroom, which would kind of go really well with bedrooms and bathrooms for people who are kind of rich. And that's like all of this open area is kind of fine with people who are kind of rich. I feel like cramped is good when you are just starting and when you don't have enough money for quite a bit of space, but having it all spaced out is kind of like a rich people style. And yet again, of course, I would stick piano somehow like that because That is just wrong. That is just wrong. But that's just me. So I'm not complaining about it really much. So it's really just a minor adjustment that I would probably do around this house, and I don't think that it's really worthy of going in and rebuilding the whole house. So I'm not going to do that here either. And that is it for the houses that we got renovated in Willow Creek. And then we do have this Riverside Roost, which I have renovated, but I really do not like the way I did renovate it because I don't know. I just do not like this house. I just don't like it. It's not my style. I don't find it pretty. I don't find it nice. But I'm going to go now and I'm going to try and renovate it again. So by default, this house is 37,194 simoleons. So I think I'm gonna try and reuse some of the stuff that we do have in this house, but for this purpose, I will need to stick a sim into this house. And I need to enter the house through the build mode. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of a weird thing. When I have started playing with the sim in life mode in this house, all of the items have depreciated. So now I'm removing the sims from the house and I have bulldozed the whole house and now I'm gonna stick it back. Before I went to do that, of course, I did just stick it into my library and I'm gonna set my funds to 0. So now we have no money. And first thing I usually do in these kind of renovations is removing all of the landscaping and mailbox too. But I hope I will not forget about it this time. So we don't need any landscaping and I'm gonna stick stuff like trash can and this fire alarm system, and I think I'm gonna stick back the mailbox and I'm gonna stick it into my household inventory so that I don't forget about it later because I tend to forget about it later. And then we are going to go and see what we can do in here. Like for this house, I think it doesn't require much explanation why I don't like it. Like it's not pretty. It's not good, says me. And this part, two windows which are offset from each other, is not pretty. So I'm gonna go for similar style, but I'm going to try. And first of all, I'm going to try and make it a little bit smaller because I'm imagining it's like a shotgun house. Shotgun is the style called. And these kind of houses usually are, I'm not sure, but I feel like they shouldn't be that big. Like I'm not American, and I know that this style of houses is more common in there, and it's not really common where I am. So that's gonna be a little bit of a challenge for me. And I'm going to first thing first remove the floor plan. We need more objects because we don't want to get rid of the doors. For now, we might reuse them later. But as for the staircase, I'm gonna remove it for now because it didn't have the underside, and I think that in this house, in this particular house, the underside for the stairs is not that big of a deal, and that would be easy to do. So I'm going to now stick all of the doors outside, as I have said. All of the furniture is in my household inventory now, almost. And by the way, what I don't like about this house either is this. Like, it's the primary bedroom of the house, and you see the windows. They're all too high, as for me. And this looks chaotic, and not in a bad way. So for now, I'm going to remove that. And I'm thinking that I might make these bump outs a little smaller. That's gonna be the first thing I'm gonna do. Like now, all of our furniture is non-existent in the house. I think as for the windows, I'm just gonna stick them on this side and here too, because maybe we might want to reuse some of them later because windows are not a bad thing about this house. Their placement is. I'm gonna leave these doors, maybe I'm gonna scoot them like to the sides. We'll see. Just like that for now. I just want them to be on top of each other. These windows are gonna go, that's for sure, because I don't really like these tiny little windows. We have plenty of these windows. They might stay for now, but we'll see about them. And these big windows, of course, they are still gonna be in the very front of the house. And now I'm gonna maybe make this part a little smaller too, this part a little small too. And we'll need to figure out the new roofing situation, and we will need to figure out the new top floor situation. So as for the roofing, I'm just gonna remove it completely because I'm not doing that. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. And yeah, we didn't even have ceiling in some parts. What I don't like about this top floor idea, I might say, is the fact that it is literally a square. like it's simple square. And I'm not yet sure what I can do about it. As for our front porch, I know that I can make it smaller, and that will not make the house bad. And I'm gonna remove the terrain because it's distracting. I'm sorry. And also, what I'm thinking is out here, instead of that door that we used to that those doors that we used to have, we might want to stick a different door because in the base game we have pretty much a lot of simple and pretty doors like this one. It's a fantastic door. It's a very pretty door. I really like the way it looks, but we didn't use it here before. And we used to have simple plain white doors, so we might as well just go ahead and use them more in here. I think like this, our entryway looks now a little bit better already. As for the roofing situation, first thing before we figure out the roofing, we do need to figure out some sort of floor plan because maybe we will need to shrink this house at all dramatically. So as for the floor plan, what I'm thinking about, now I have all of the furniture that we used to have in this house in my inventory. So we did have a couch and we did have, if I remember correctly, a chess table inside. I think our chess table can still go inside in here, like next to the window. I'm not sure if I want to make some sort of like a divided entryway area, but I think that might be actually a little beneficial for this house because it doesn't spoil the front part of the house, but it might kind of divide the entryway area a little better. So maybe we might want to have kind of no office sort of area in there, or maybe we might want to have something like a diner area in here. I'm not sure yet. The only thing I'm sure about is I don't want to leave the floor plan the way it was originally. You know what I'm thinking about? Chess table on one side, diner on the other side. Maybe we don't need this entryway. Maybe I'm just going to make it like a hallway. I know that I've said that I not really like hallways when the EA does that, but it's not EA doing that, that's me doing that. But on one side, we might kind of close this area off and make it office in the very front of the house. On the other side, we might maybe partly, only partly close it off and make it out here a little diner area. Maybe I'm gonna make it a little bigger, we'll see about it, and just like something like that, and then we just want to stick some decor around here. As for this front top part, I'm gonna extend it dramatically because I'm not sure how huge I want it to be a little bit later, but we need to figure out placement of the stairs. As for the staircase, I'm gonna stick just simplest brown stair for now, and I'm gonna stick it like that as for now. So now this portal is much closer to the very front of the house and it looks a little bit more logical as for me. Maybe I'm gonna stick our staircase a little bit like that so that it's not occupying as much space and attention as it did originally. Then opposite to the stairs, we can have a tiny first floor bathroom. And by the way, we did have a bookshelf, so sticking out here or something like an office might be kind of a logical choice. Maybe in office area we can do somewhat like that, so that we have a bookshelf behind us. Out here we might sit and work, out here we might read something, out here we can play chess just to take a little break. So I'm thinking something like that is going to be the part of our main layout. I'm going to stick one of the doors in here. So that's going to be our bottom door. And then out here, we only need to figure out the kitchen's placing and the living room area. So, and apparently we do need to start saving on the walls because we cannot afford it. And this house apparently is going to be dramatically smaller than it used to be originally. So I'm going to make it like that. We are going to have a long, big hallway. I hate long and big hallways, but for now I'm doing it like that. So in here we are going to have our dining area. Maybe I'm going to switch the dining table to something that's going to be a little bit more fitting to this whole area. Then out here we are going to have a kitchen. So for the kitchen for now, I'm going to stick it like that. Of course, I'm probably going to switch it around a little later. The kitchen for now is going to be partly empty because I'm thinking that out here we are going to have our entryway to the kitchen. And by the way, this part, I'm going to move one more tile. And maybe in here we might want to have a tiny little breakfast snack. So this way our kitchen is kind of here, our breakfast snack is here, and out here we are going to have a formal dining area. That's the idea for now. And we will need some archways. I think at least a couple like that to our dining and kitchen area are going to be good. And then maybe another one but bigger here, because in here I think we can afford to have a taller one. But that feels a little too open. Maybe just like that. Let it be wide, but let it be not too tall. That's gonna be kind of okay-ish, I guess. So in here we are going to have a bathroom, and in here we are going to have our living room. As for the living room furniture, it was a little lacking by default. And somehow I managed to make this layout in a way that we do have to stick two bedrooms on the top floor. For now, that's what we've got. I can shrink it, but then it's gonna be square again, so I'm not going to shrink it. So the only thing that I'm kind of sure about now is that we are gonna have a wall here, and we are gonna have a wall here, or maybe this wall is going to turn into railing. I don't know, maybe we can stick another working place in here. So we do not need direct access to this part of the house. So we can even directly make it just like this tiny little hallway and have it be two bedrooms. Like there can be just one same size. And also in the same time, I'm thinking now we don't need to have a bathroom that's going to be accessible from this floor. So we can just do it like that. So that is the bathroom. We have a second bathroom in the house. And if we need to, we can stick a third bedroom in this house. But I might actually even leave it like a common area in the house. But for now, I'm not sure about it. And we have no money. So I'm thinking that to be able to furnish the whole house, we will need to sell some decor stuff as for now. So I'm not using toilet paper and I'm not using curtains because curtains are very expensive in the game and we cannot afford them. As for our living area, by the way, we can have a TV in here. Maybe I'm going to stick a big plant in here in the corner. And then in here we'll see maybe something for hobbies like easel or stuff. And actually in here I'm thinking that we might want to have a big bathroom on the second floor. So this is going to be a bathroom. Out here we might just want to have like a railed area. So in here maybe we're going to stick some sort of another hobby nook because hobbies are kind of essence of The Sims 4 as I'm seeing that. And now I need some lights because I absolutely cannot see. I'm gonna stick bigger lights because this way I do not forget to delete them later when I need to. And this blue wallpaper used to be in the kids' bedroom. This used to be in the bathroom on the second floor. This used to be in the bedroom too. And I'm gonna stick carpet and a lot of stuff in the house, but I'm not sure that's gonna be a really good idea for me. But as for now, that will do. And we have completely lost the wallpaper that we used to have in the bathroom on the first floor, but I think that's not that dramatic. And as for the office area, I think we might use this wallpaper. I think that used to be in the kitchen, but we might go for plain and boring everywhere. We have no money again. That's gonna be a struggle. Alright, I'm going to sell some of the stuff that we do have because we don't need these lights for now. Of course, maybe I'm gonna buy them back, but I'm selling them for full price, so I'm not being worried about it. I think this carpet we might want to use in one of the bedrooms. We'll see. Maybe not even. Maybe even not. And by the way, layout wise, I'm thinking that maybe sticking in here our primary bedroom and in this part our kids' bedroom is gonna be a little bit better. So I'm gonna do it like that for now. And now we have an option to stick all of those doors and windows that we did save from the very beginning of building this house. We don't need much, we just need enough. So as for the doors inside, I think that we've done that. As for the windows, we are to figure it out right now. So I think we might want to stick this window with shutters up here. I feel like these windows are not tall enough for this house. Maybe I should shrink this house. Maybe I should make it lower. At least on the second floor, I think we absolutely can afford that. On the first floor, I think our front area is going to suffer if I'm going to do that. But on the second floor, I think I absolutely can afford that. And maybe we can see some of the taller windows that we have got in the game, and maybe we can stick them instead. There is even same color, so I'm going to go for these little taller windows in here. In windows in houses is always a tough part for me. Always has been. I think I'm going to get rid of these windows with shutters because they do not really match now what I'm using. And out here on the top floor, I'm sticking the same door that we do have on the bottom floor, but a little differently. Like it's the same door, but it's shorter. Something like that in the very back. I know that it's maybe a bit too much, so maybe I'm going to spread them out a little bit. Now that's boring. Maybe much was better. I think I don't care that much for the sides because sides are there just to be. If they are I'm fine. Maybe we are not going to stick a breakfast snack in here. Maybe we are going to stick something else in here. I'm not sure. Maybe a breakfast snack. We will see. For now, I don't see myself sticking out there a breakfast snack, but maybe that's just for now. Maybe I will figure it out. As for these smaller windows, I think I'm going to stick one in the bathroom in here. I'm not going to stick any more windows up here on top of our couch because that would be too many windows in one room. Maybe we can also stick a couple up here so that they are just in here. I can even stick them like that so that it looks a little bit like they're grouped, and that's fine. Similar, I'm going to go on this side so this kind of is symmetrical. Maybe I'm going to lower them a little bit so that they're at least lined kind of all together. Two lines on top of them, so a little lower. I like lower windows and higher windows just because they look a little bit more normal, I guess. And we don't need too many windows in kids' bedroom. That's gonna be fine. And now we don't need to figure out the railing. I'm going to stick this one or maybe this one. So out here we are going to have an open stair landing, and in here I'm going to stick a second door this time to our bathroom. So that's the main layout figured out. Now we do definitely need to finish it up because we still have quite a bit of things to do, and yeah. First, I'm going to go around and stick everywhere the furniture that we used to have in this house originally. I think shower tub combo will not really go well into this bathroom anymore. Maybe we can just do... What if we do a hot bath on the first floor? Like, we do not need the whole bathroom on the first floor. Like, we can just have a toilet and a sink. Like, stick around some decor, and that would look really pretty. As for our office, I think that is all of the sufficient furniture that we do need to have in the office. I'm going to stick this color in here, and I'm going to bring this... Let the office be blue, let the bedroom be green, because we have green furniture in the bedroom, so green bedroom is a little bit more kind of practical, seems to me. Also, we used to have this table, I think somewhere in here in the living room, but I feel like this table is an outdoor table, but that's just me probably. Maybe we can have these floor lamps somewhere in the office, like next to our desk. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to afford a computer, but I'm going to sell the shower tub combo because we are not buying that, definitely. And I'm not sure what kind of side tables we used to have in the primary bedroom, but I'm going to stick these ones for now. And as for kids' bedroom, I think we might want to stick out here a mirror. Might do. For now, I'm going to copy these same side table as we did have in our primary bedroom. And maybe we might want to have a chair. Like, maybe we read something in here. I don't know. I'm not sure. And we used to have two of these armchairs, but I'm not sure what I can stick them. So maybe I will not. Seems like an option. I'm gonna leave one for now in here, and the other one I'm gonna sell. Also, we used to have this trash can in our kitchen, so I'm going to stick it in here. And we had this mirror in our bathroom and toilet. For now, I'm doing it all quite minimalistic. You get that. I think you see that. There is a very simple explanation for that. I do that because for now, I'm trying to stick all of the furniture that we used to have in this house originally back so that later we can try and work around that. I didn't find a spot for this sprinkler system. It kind of fits here. Not sure if it's gonna work, but we can stick a trash can where it was originally, right here under the stair. It was here, but I'm gonna stick it here. And now we can go around and stick all of those side lamps that we used to have everywhere around the house because, it seems we are using everything but normal lighting. For now, like that. Now I'm going to go around and try room by room fix what we've got. So first thing, I think let us start with something that is the worst. So the worst that we have got are lack of roof, by the way. So we do need to stick a roof in this house. So we used to have this room up here just to line our vent out in here, and we used to have a roof like that on top of it. I'm kind of fine with the roof like that. But as for the whole roof, the overhead roof, we might think something about it because I don't want it to be too tall. And we used to have a roof like that up here too, so I'm going to shrink it a little bit. And by the way, all of these windows where they are couples, I'm just going to stick quarter tile closer to each other like that so that they are kind of in groups, and that looks a little better, at least in the back, so the back doesn't look like the whole wall of windows now. For me, roofing this house is maybe the most challenging thing that I have ever done in The Sims 4. I just find it so hard. Sometimes I just really want to do something like that, but that is not the very style of the house itself because, that works for the pancakes house. It doesn't really work for this house. Like, I feel like I do need to add this sort of shape to the house to be able to properly add to that. Just literally, the moment I try to extend it like that, that is like too much roof in the very front of the house. Maybe I can add something to the roof of the house so that it doesn't look so bad, like a chimney, so that it's empty. Of course, we don't have a fireplace in the house, but chimney never hurts. I would add some dormers, but in the base game we don't have that much dormers. I think yellow trim is gonna go a little bit better with this house, and maybe we can try and bring it back to life with proper roof texture. Maybe green roof? I don't usually use green roof. Or maybe this one, simple and black. I like this roof by the way, but I don't use it really often. What if we are gonna make it a little bit of a bumped out area in here? I'm going to stick this kind of roof up here twice. Also, we might want to extend our entry area like that, or we can redo it at all and make it a little bit wider, but only one. Like, what if we are gonna do it like that? That looks pretty. I need to lower the house once at least, I think, too. Or we can do it like that. That looks too good too. And then, as a final touch, we just might want to add a little bit of roof in here in the corner, where our roof ends, where our roof goes, and use all the same trims, all the same stuff, just for it to match. And this way, we have the whole house kind of divided by two. And I'm also thinking I'm gonna use the same outdoor panels as we do have right now, but I'm going to use them trimless so that we can stick trim manually. Maybe we can stick different one because we got a newer one in the game when we got an update quite recently, and that will give us a little bit more of a noticeable trim. And as we have yellow already on the house, I don't think we need yellow trim too. That would be a little too much for my liking. Now we have a little bit of a more open area upstairs. Not doesn't sound bad either, I think. Even if you're not going to play the house the way it is right now, you can even stick out there a nursery just in case you want to. And I think now I'm a little bit more satisfied with the roof, but I'm thinking that I might still want to stick some more decor up here. Like, let me stick out here a vent. That would be kind of fine. And we can even stick another roof vent up here, just on the side, for it to be here, because we can imagine that we might actually need it. And I know that that looks still a little bit ridiculous. That is not perfect at all. I know that it is not perfect. I'm sorry. This house is hurt. And for now, I'm going to stick out here this bigger window and let us go and figure out what we have lacking in the house. So first of all, I want to make this house look a little bit somehow at least appealing because for now it's not good. So we have this rug and we might want to stick a runner throughout our whole hallway. I'm gonna imagine this part is our entryway. So in here, I just want to stick this one. Like we have a stone entryway so that you can take off your shoes in here and stuff. And now let us go through the area where as I have said before, find a little bit more lacking than any other. By the way, this bathroom stuff I think was supposed to be switched around so that we have a little bit fancier stuff upstairs and a little bit simpler stuff downstairs. And what I'm thinking is we might want to go and I want to remove these floor lamps because I don't like them. We have quite a tight budget, as you have seen already. I'm gonna remove this carpet and I'm gonna remove this chair, at least chairs, all of them, save one. And I want to have out here a little bit longer of a dining table. So we used to have this one. It's 330 simoleons. I think we should splurge probably and stick one that is a little more expensive, but in similar style. How much does one chair cost? 115. And I think there are no other options for the chair that look kind of similar to this. I'm going to make it like that. We might want to have out here a rug. I think I can even stick out here this rug. Then we might also want to stick out here something like a table. And on top of this table, some painting that is kind of at least gotta give us something. Maybe we should go for a tragic clown. Maybe there is some wall decor that's not painting, but that would kind of look like one. Menu? Not in the house. We could have stuck something like that, but that's not the style of this house. So I think up here I'm gonna stick a painting, and we might wanna splurge on a duck because duck is kind of partly an essential part of this house. And I'm going to stick a plant in the corner. I would stick this one, but it's ugly and expensive. It just occupies quite a bit of space, so it looks kind of good in the areas like that. And instead of this ceiling light, we might want to change it for something a little fancier. But I don't like this one, and I don't like this one either. Like, they don't give no light at all. Give me light. That's the dining for now. Might change it later. As for our long and sad hallway, what I'm thinking is we might want to have another painting in the very end of the hallway. Let me make it a little bit creepy, I'm sorry, but I'm going to do that. But we are going to have a tragic clown painting in the very end of this hallway, and I'm going to stick a lamp on top of it. And then in terms of lighting the hallway, I'm just going to stick two little lamps in the very beginning and in the very end in the middle. Not in the very end, I thought in the very end, but now I'm thinking that in the middle. Then a little mirror up here and a coat rack next to it. I'm not going to stick out here a shoe shell because I think that that's going to obstruct our walkability of this entryway. So for the most part, this entryway is done. Let me, by the way, check if I can switch the color of our dining area without making it worse. This wallpaper, by the way, is a whole 60 millions per piece. So even switching to something like that is cheaper. And I like this wallpaper. That looks cute. And for now, let me go a little bit overboard with some decor. And yes, the keys from the challenge. But let me go a little bit overboard with some decor and let us stick out here a fruitcake, as if we were eating one. Or should I stick out here a flower that would look like a tiny bouquet? Let that be flowers. Gonna be fine. Next thing that we've got in this house is our office area. I don't like when my house looks particularly sterile, so I'm not gonna do it in here. I'm not gonna try to do it in here. I'm going to probably not stick in this house a computer because I don't think we can afford one. And I'm going to stick this simplest office chair that we've got. Luckily, at least it's not uncomfortable. And as for our chess table, I'm not going to go for too much in here. I'm just going to stick these simple ones. And we have this 1800 Smolian bookshelf, which we definitely will need to switch because that is a lot of money for the bookshelf. I think I might want to try and bring back a little bit more of a brown color from the floor to the house itself. I think I'm going to use quite a bit of this flowery wallpaper because it brings something to the house. As for the office, I think we might want to have a calendar in here. Office people use ones. And we might want to have a corkboard out here in the corner. And I'm going to splurge and buy for us a computer. If we cannot afford something later, I'm going to sell the computer. As for the lights, I know that this room looks rather sterile, but and that is not the best vibe for the office room. And we might want to try and fix that by sticking some sort of a plant somewhere in the corner, but I'm not sure that that's gonna really fix that. I'm gonna just do it like that for now. At least we have one plant. At least it's not completely empty. Curtains would definitely save the situation, but we can't afford them. They're expensive. As for this bathroom, it looks sad. It looks bad, and it looks sad. I'm gonna go with the assumption that it's a half bath, so we don't need the whole wall of tiles, but we definitely do need some bathroom decor. So I'm thinking I'm gonna stick this towel on the side, and I'm gonna stick a soap on the sink, and I'm gonna stick a plant by the toilet. And I'm gonna bring in some browns in this bathroom. I know that sounded really not appealing, I know that, but I'm gonna do it like that. Maybe I should switch the wallpaper color. I'm not sure. I feel like brown color for the bathroom is not really the best color. Should I make it blue and brown? Should I make it beige? Let us make it beige. I'm not really a fan of beige bathrooms. I'm not really a fan of beige color. But I feel like in here it kind of works. Orange pot will do. Now we don't need to figure out the kitchen. As for the kitchen, the only thing that I'm absolutely sure about this kitchen is that we are buying cheaper counters and cheaper stove. I'm sorry, guys. 290 for the counter. Even if I'm gonna stick these newer counters, that's gonna be cheaper. I feel like I've just sold the fridge and the stove and I bought literally the same ones. I think I did. I'm gonna stick this ventilation hood up here. I'm sticking this one because it's just not too obstructing and it kind of does match, does look fine without the top up here. And I'm also thinking our kitchen is gonna be blue, but as a backsplash, I'm gonna use similar tile to the one that we have used in the bathroom, but this. Does it look too blue? And I did recolor our entryway green, so now it's a little bit more cozy looking. And as our kitchen, apparently we are going for blue appliances vibe. I'm just gonna stick two lights, and I've been thinking of a little breakfast snack. And in the kitchen, we just might want to have some our usual stuff, I might say, like paper towels, and I'm gonna stick these utensils up here near our stove, like we are cooking. And I'm gonna stick up here a fruit bowl. And I'm not going to stick anything on top of our little breakfast snack table, just so that we do not have anything obstructing. And I'm thinking I'm gonna leave this counter empty, and on one of these counters I'm just gonna stick a sink because we still do need the sink and I completely forgot about it. We are out of money. That is unfortunate, and the breakfast snack I'm not going to stick anything for obvious reasons. And let us now go to the living room. So now that is the moment where we start to struggle, I think. I think I'm going to leave this coffee table, but on top of this coffee table I'm going to stick a cheaper TV. Then I might want to see if we might want to have something for the hobbies in the house. I'm going to stick a bonsai tree in here in the corner. And I'm gonna switch the color of the wallpaper. It's gonna be same yellow, but it's gonna be different wallpaper. I think I'm gonna still use this beige couch, but I'm going to pair it with the same armchair that we had here, but I'm gonna make the armchair green. I think I'm going to use this rug. I don't really love it here, but that looks fine, I guess. Brown lamp up here, big plant in here. Maybe we might want to have a chest in our living room, like, storing stuff. For now, I'm gonna leave it here. I'm not sure it's gonna stay because it's kind of on an expensive side. And this looks sadly empty, I know that, but on the same side, I do not want to hang anything on top of TV. And movie posters are expensive. Should I hang these? Should I hang it here? Should I stick here two more windows? That's gonna be too many windows for one room. Maybe we have some surfaces that do look nice hanging. No, we don't. Basegame is a little bit lacking on this side. And by the way, I think we might benefit if we are gonna recolor all of our doors and all of our entryways on the inside, only on the inside, not on the outside, to brown. That looks a little bit more cohesive, I feel like. Maybe instead of this little planet we had here, I might want to stick a bigger planet here so that occupies quite a bit of space. Like this. So that's our sad living room. Sad indeed. What if I use this table as a coffee table and I stick TV on a higher table? That goes borderline TV to high, but we still can use this coffee table and we can even stick stereo on top of it. Or what if I'm gonna move the stereo with the alt, that's not gonna be accessible. I think stereo should go on a higher floor. And here we can stick some cocoa. Like we can drink at least. Something nice. Like hot chocolate. Sounds tasty. Let us go upstairs. We have quite a bit of work to do out here too now. So what I was thinking of upstairs, I was thinking that we might want to stick an activity area in here. We have now in the game this heirloom easel, and I've spent all my money. I'm not sure I'm going to use it here. I'm gonna sell this mirror because this mirror we can easily replace with something else. I'm gonna remove everything from these rooms, by the way, because we are not using this stuff. We are using the most simple stuff. I think first I'm gonna start with our lights in these whole areas so that at least it's not dark. And I'm gonna color upstairs hallway the same color as downstairs hallway. Should I make this area not into an art area but in a nursery? Like, let us add a bedroom. Like, we can always do that. Nurseries are also kind of cheaper in The Sims. So I'm gonna stick a crib. Also, I might want to stick up here a high chair. And I think I'm gonna stick some sort of a little fantasy rug, maybe like this. We might also want to have a bookshelf, one in the corner here. Maybe let us make it pink. Also, I'm gonna stick a potty. I know that I'm kind of now mixing and matching stuff from toddlers and infants and stuff, because we have a crib which is supposed to be for infants, and we have a high chair and a potty which are supposed to be for toddlers. But at the same time, I'm thinking um we can do that. And I'm going to stick up here a chair, like that's going to be a spot where we are going to read for our child. Like grab a book, go and read. Also, I'm going to stick a couple of toys on the floor, and I think I'm going to switch the high chair to this one that looks a little more matching to the vibe of the whole room. I'm not sticking a dollhouse. Dollhouses are expensive. I would stick a weblet, but weblet is not cheap either. So literally we have everything we might want to have to take care of a child. I'm only gonna add this just for the vibe of the room, and maybe something like this. Like, our child is growing and we are saving the memories, and some clouds. I'm gonna switch the color to the plain one without any flowers on it, so that it looks a little bit more cohesive. And this can go really well up here where our bed is. I don't usually like using a lot of decals, but I think I can afford to here. Just like that. Let this bedroom be clouds and stuff themed. 2 lights is sufficient. Sims are gonna see, and I'm gonna see when I'm gonna play with them. Of course, I'm not going to play in this house, but I can imagine. I can always imagine. How much is this wallpaper? 8 simoleons per piece. Should we switch? I guess yes. That has same fancy vibe, but it's cheaper looking. I'm fine about it. This I'm gonna leave the way it is. And I don't like carpets. I don't like carpets. I'm gonna remove them, and I would prefer using hardwood floors with rugs. Up for this bathroom, I think I'm going to use the same bathroom stuff that I do have right now in here. And I think we might want to have a tub in here, because for now, apparently, we do have a toddler in the house. And we might want to use a shower, and we might want to use a sink. Maybe I can make a double sink. As for the lights, I'm not going to imagine anything new. As for the mirror on top of our sink, I might use a white one, but this white one is not wide enough. But if I'm gonna scoot both of the sinks in the middle, that would look okay. That looks like a public bathroom. I'm gonna use single sink. No double sink in here. No double sink. I think we can afford to have this decor shelf up here in the corner, and yeah, maybe we cannot. Now that I think of that, we actually not have any furniture in any of our bedrooms, and we have only 1500 simoleons. I will need to push it a little back downstairs, apparently. So as for the beds, we'll need to go for cheapest beds in the game now. I think as for kids' bedroom, I'm gonna go a lot for exactly kids' bedroom. And as for parents' bedroom, I'm gonna go for a little rustic parents' bedroom. Unfortunately for now, we can't afford much. So probably I will need to compromise on some stuff on our child's bedroom, like, you know, this stuff, because we probably do need some essential furniture a little bit more. Maybe I'm not going to light this room all that much, and maybe we will still need to use carpet. One less toy, 35 simoleons extra saved. Maybe we cannot afford this towel in here. And maybe we cannot afford a computer. No computer for this household. If you need a computer, go to the library. And now our problem's kind of gone, because I have switched some stuff. Like, remove the computer. Had to. I think in these bedrooms, sticking something like a mirror up here, like, you dress up, you check how you look, might be good. There is nothing to do outside in here on our balcony, by the way. Maybe we can stick out here a little garden. Like, we can have a couple of planters in here just to plant a couple of stuff. Of course, we cannot use a telescope in here because not enough space. As for kit, I was thinking science table, but when I stick science table, that's all I can afford. Like nothing else I can afford. Upon the light, science table can go under the window, by the way. This area is going to be for sleeping. And as for furniture, I would really like to stick at least a dresser, and we can't afford it because we have not enough simoleons. I'm gonna optimize some of the lights where I can. Now we can afford a dresser, at least. A horse toy. Actually, I'm thinking I'm gonna use the dresser instead of a side table. Seems practical to me. So a science table. And I would like a desk to do our homework, but I'm not sure we can afford it. And I feel like we can't. Let me go further down and try and optimize some more of the lights. I think in every room where we have two, we can have only one. That's gonna make the house a little bit more dim, I know, but that saves us quite a bit of money. Instead of a desk, I'm going to go for that simple trick and I'm gonna use the same price range table, dining table, so that now we have a homework table. I'm gonna stick some books because it seems like I cannot even afford a cup with pencils. Funny. Not fun at all. Maybe no calendars in here. Duck has to stay. Maybe no light on top of our tragic clown. That saves us some money. Like, we still need a rock in here. Kids at least deserve this. So, I cannot deny my child a rock. Space rock, of course. Tiny circular one underneath our homework area. In the matching color to the whole room. And we don't even have stair railing. That's so bad. That's so bad. Ancient edition fence? We have. I'm gonna remove stair railings from here. That's gonna save us some money. I'm gonna stick this one in here. I'm gonna stick a stair rail only on one side and not to the whole length of stairs. Now we can adjust that. Like, we don't need a railing out here. That looks fine without it. And I would like a runner rock in here too. Just 3 tiles long. That's all I ask. Our bathroom is ridiculous. It's huge, but it's empty. What about the tile? How much is this tile? 5 simoleons. No. 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 We are using cheaper one. We can't afford it. Cheapest step in the game? Yes. Not this one, of course. Not to this extent. That would be a little too much. I'm gonna stick this bush in the bath just because it gives normal vibe. I'm gonna remove the soap from the sink because we cannot afford it anymore. Save money on everything we can. Think instead of a soap, I'm gonna stick a row up here because that would give a little bit more of a character. At least one. Let me have one. No toilet paper, but we can also have a towel. Or should we have it here or something else? Let me stick a toilet right next to the sink up here so that in here we can have a towel now. Let it be brown. I don't mind that. And another brown rug on the bath. I'm sizing this rug there up. I know that it doesn't look really good, but that's what we have to do. And can we switch this trash can to the cheaper one? So this is our door trash can too, so we can use this one. I know that's not really perfect because this one is not that much more expensive, but it's a normal trash can. We have fire alarm system for the whole house, so we don't need to spend money to use it only in some areas, in some specific areas. Now we have bedrooms then. We added one extra bedroom. We managed to make this house, I hope, a little bit better. And now we have a little bit more of a closed floor plan, of course, but hope that still looks fine. And now I want to move the whole house a little bit so that it's not that set on the side of the lot. And by the way, we don't have any outdoor lights. I have no money! I think I will need to switch the plant that I have indoors in here. This one that I had here, this ugly one. And I might want to switch it to something that's not gonna be as big and noticeable in the corner. But it's not gonna cost as much. There is nothing that would take as much space that doesn't cost as much. Should I make it a tree? No, that looks very bad. Maybe I think using one plant twice is not such a bad thing. Like literally in same corners of one floor. Maybe there is some sort of statue in here in the game. Just something that would occupy the space. Christmas tree. No. How much is this plant? 290. That's 292. I thought that maybe sticking something like a room divider might be cheaper, but that actually is more expensive. Maybe I can switch our bookshelf in our kids' bedroom to the cheaper one so that at least we have some money to stick some lights outside of the house. Tragic clown painting is not getting sold. That's not negotiable. I'm gonna try and stick these lights where I can. I won't be able to do that everywhere. Maybe we can also switch our armchair in our living room to one a little cheaper. That's 10 simoleon. That is literally nothing. Let at least make it 40. That's so pathetic. That's so sad. Maybe we can sell a coffee maker. 50 simoleons or never extra. Then I'm gonna set a football in here and we still have one empty counter, so that's not too bad. Because we still need one more light in here. And we cannot afford that already. Alright, I'm gonna sell one of the planters. I'm gonna sell all of the planters. No planters in the house, apparently. I'm thinking 750 simoleons for fire prevention system utility panel. Sold. That wasn't long thinking. Now we can still have a decent trash can. That's at least better. At least we are gonna have something to do outside and not just look at it. Maybe we can even afford to have a little table outside and a little chair just to sit out here and enjoy the weather. Like, maybe we are keeping journal. No, we are not keeping journal. That's too expensive. Can't afford that. What if we are bringing in groceries through this door? That's too expensive too. Yes, we can imagine that we are bringing groceries through this door. Like, not to bring them all the way through the front door and through all our hallways, but to the right here. So what if we are doing something like that in here? I can even stick a box like that so that, we are bringing different stuff from here. So now that's kind of a little bit more cohesive. And now I'm going to stick and move the house a little bit on the lot. And now we can go and landscape because I have done everything that I can do about this house and I'm not going to do any better. It's not good. I'm not saying that it's good, but it's fine. It's fine. Let me just stick at least one tree in here and maybe one bigger tree in here. So in case you want to, you can literally fence up some of this area and have out here an outside area if you can afford to. Like we are going off the fence that we had for this house originally. So now I'm gonna go and map out some of our terrain with some dirt. And as for terrain, I'm gonna go for something really simple. I'm just gonna stick a couple of trees, just some bushes, and only in the areas that are visible. Like out here, we can go well without terrain for now. If we need it later, we can add it later. Just like that, and that's exactly the amount of the money that we had to spend on this house. Doing good, doing great. Now the only thing we can work is terrain. We can't afford anything new, anything more. I'm going to also add some dirt underneath the bushes just as a shadow and underneath the whole foundation of the house. And of course, a patch of dirt in here where we are gonna have a sidewalk to the side of the house. And now the stones themselves. We used to have something like that, but I don't like using stones like that because they look a little bit too done. I think something like gravel would look a little bit better because that looks kind of a little bit more realistic to fate. And I'm gonna bring back some dirt where I've lost it in translation. So something like that. Kind of simple. That's what the house looks like. There is no good lighting on this lot, unfortunately, but now at least we have something to do in here. So let us go inside and see the tour. I have raised down our second floor because it was a little bit too tall for my liking. I did add some windows. Windows on the sides are kind of random, but we have kind of unified windows in the back and something of a unity in the front. So the outside I like a little bit more than what we had originally, of course, otherwise I wouldn't have overdone that. Then if you enter the house out here, we have a little entryway with a mirror. Then from here you can access this office area. Office is kind of simple but sufficient. No computer, unfortunately. So if you need a computer, go to the library. If you go to this side of the house, and here we have our dining area. It's going to be kind of like a formal dining area in my head. So if you want to, you will be able to stick out here something like music, stereo, or maybe statue. I didn't have money for that. If you go here, you have a downstairs half bath, and here we only have a sink and a toilet and some decor. If you go directly to the very end of the hallway out here, we have a tragic clown painting, and then we also do have out here a living room and a kitchen. The kitchen has all the essentials, so you have a fridge, stove. Also, we do have a microwave if you want to, and then we do have a sink, and then we do have a breakfast snack. It's kind of simple. The kitchen is kind of like an outlet, but we had to work with what we had. If we go to the left, and here we do have a plant, then we do have a little kind of modest living room too. And here we have a TV and bonsai tree, so in case you want to do something, you can practice your gardening skills. If you go upstairs, in here we have three bedrooms now. Originally we had two bedrooms, one on the first floor, one on the second floor. Now we have three bedrooms. So one of the bedrooms is kids' bedroom. Out here, by the way, we can switch it to blue. That would look a little bit better. So in here we do have kids' bedroom. In kids' bedroom we do have a desk to do our homework. Also in here we have a science table to practice our thinking skill. And then in here we do have a bed and a dresser so we can dress up. If you go to the primary bedroom, it's kind of modest and simple too. We only have a couple of plants, a couple of lights, a dresser, a mirror, and a bed in here. If you go here, we have a simple bathroom. In the bathroom, we have a shower, we have a tub. Also, we have a sink and a toilet, so everything you might need to take care of your Sims hygiene and bloodonate. If you go to the right, out here we have a new bedroom. In the new bedroom, I have decided to make it the infant bedroom with a perspective for infant to become a toddler, of course. So we have an infant bed, and then we have a high chair. Also, we have an armchair in here in case your Sims might want to read to your infants. Also, out here we do have a potty, a toy, and a bookshelf. So everything you might want to have in here, everything you might want to have in the house, we have in the house. And that's it. That's it for the house. And as for the balconies, I've decided to make them a little bit more interesting. So on the upstairs balcony out here, we do have a little garden area. So we have a couple of planters. And on the bottom floor, we do have kind of like a grocery deload area. So through here, your Sims might walk up here to the house to when they're bringing their groceries. Maybe the grocery store is down this pathway. Who knows? Maybe it's a little bit more convenient for those things. So that's it. That's all we have got. And I think this iteration turned out to be a little bit better than the previous one because the previous one I just didn't like at all. And this one is a little bit better. It's still lacking, of course, but I'm imagining all of these houses like you're gonna start playing in this house. And maybe in some time you will try and rebuild some stuff, maybe redo some stuff, maybe rebuy some stuff, and that is I think turned out to be a decent house for this purpose because it's only 40,000 simoleons. There are not a lot of houses that are maybe 2 times more the threshold for the starter home. So I feel like that maybe might be useful for you, and I hope it will be useful for you. And I'm gonna post this house on the gallery. All of the info about this house on the gallery is gonna be in the description for this video down below. So thank you for watching, and if you like videos like that, you can subscribe to my channel. And I think that this should probably be a goodbye. So bye guys. And do you remember how in the very beginning of this video I have said that I do need to not forget about the mailbox. So that is why I have left it out there in the corner. And guess who forgot about the mailbox? Me. So for the mailbox I'm not gonna do anything too much. Of course I would like to use something like that because that's cute. But I'm a little bit afraid that it's a little bit cuter than the house that we have got up here. So and it doesn't have similar swatches, so that will not do. So I'm thinking let us see what kind of mailbox do our neighbors have. They have, pancakes do have this mailbox. Our neighbors out there have similar one. And about these ones, they have the plain basic mailbox. And I think that, yes, that's what I have done to this house. I have rebuilt that already and I completely forgot about it. That was a long time ago. I'm thinking I'm gonna get the mailbox the same as the pancakes. This one, but base color, it kind of does I don't like this mailbox. No, I'm not using that. I'm using the plain, simple base game mailbox. Of course, I have noticed that I have missed the mailbox when I was already finishing editing the video, so quite late. Let our mailbox be like here next to this rock. I hope nobody's gonna hate if I'm gonna stick it diagonally. I would actually like to stick a mailbox like right here under the tree, but I feel like that wouldn't be really comfortable for a mailman. So, alright. Let it be here right next to this rock. And I think I'm gonna recolor this rock too, so at least these two are in same color and not just some random colors. Now that is the house then. Now it is. If you're thinking why I have money, that is because I had to go back to the game, so I did go back to leave mode, so I had to cheat for the money again. I had to build those lots, place it back again from my own library, so now I'm gonna set it to 0 again. And we are back at the exact amount of money that we have started building this house. That's gonna be my honest another attempt on rebuilding this house. I'm not sure. I don't know. It is a difficult house to rebuild, but I guess now that truly is a goodbye. So you please go somewhere here. Let me take a picture of the house. That's it. So bye guys. See you next time when I'm gonna rebuild something else, or when, or on some sort of a gameplay video where I'm playing with my legacy on Hurry Baby Challenge, so I think that should be fine. Whatever, watch whatever you like. So, bye guys.